Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liaoming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today. Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, the savior of the nether world. Simu, Tanzen Katsu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are Accountant to Tribhuda Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. The debate advisor to the President of Indonesia, Dr. Koni. Dr. Ryan Zhuang. And a member of the Tribhuda School Scholars Group, Professor Ye. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? This evening, we practice Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. That's his mantra. And his mudra it is also called the Vajra teeth in the Vajra realm. That's what it's called. The two middle fingers are separate. That's the Siddhigarbha basic mudra. And the image here, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, is holding a shining pole, wearing 5 Buddha crowns, and also holds a staff. Most ordained monks would have this like staff. In Mahayana Buddhism, most ordained monks would carry that staff. And they also have the alms bowl, which is the bowl for eating. Nowadays it's different, but in the ancient time, you would go for alms. In India, you have to go around for alms giving. And in Thailand, they maintain it till now. Or in Southeast Asia, where they follow the Theravada Buddhism tradition, they still have that alms giving. But in the Middle Kingdom, it becomes they are self-sufficient, so they farm and plant vegetables and self-sufficient. The same thing with their clothings in the ancient time. The clothes is like the leftover cloth, and then they patch and sew it into a piece of cloth, and then just wrap it around the body. But nowadays, in Thailand, they still have that. They use a piece of cloth and then just wrap it around the body, and then holding the bowl and the staff, and then go around for alms. And in the Middle Kingdom, things change. The clothing also change. And in Tibet, they wear the Tibetan Lama robe. And in Tibetan school, it's also changed. So they have the Lama skirt, and then they wear a little, like a short shirt, a shirt. And then for us here, it's different again. We wear both sleeves, and we have elastic. For the Lama skirt, so we don't have to worry whether it's going to fall or not. Like for them, if they have a longer one, then you can just wrap it on your shoulder. And there's this shorter one, and they call it like a Zen cloth. And what we wear now is the precept robe. And Chinese is smart, so they use hook so that it doesn't fall off. But for the Zen cloth, then it would fall off often. Then you have to keep hanging on your shoulder. And then the Japanese monks wear something different. So they keep changing it. So their outfits just change, their diets change, their residence or the abode also change. At the time of Sakyamuni Buddha, they live in caves. So each person would find a cave to live in. But now it's different. Now they build temples, monasteries. So Bodhidharma went to the Liang dynasty, and he was shocked. Because in India, people still live in the caves or huts or grass huts. But in China, The monks live in temples and monasteries that were built very luxuriously and beautiful. So Bodhidharma was shocked when he saw the temple. It was as luxurious as a palace. So time has changed, things has changed too. Of the 8 great bodhisattvas, the one who showed as an ordained monk is only Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. People are still researching and pondering why Sakyamuni Buddha, when he was alive, he was expounding on the Siddhigarbha Sutra, and why he gave the responsibility to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. Because of the 8 great bodhisattvas, the only one who is a monk is Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. The other bodhisattvas like Manjusri, Avalokiteswara, Akasagarbha, Vajrapani, Viskambi, Maitreya, they don't appear as a monk. At that time, Maitreya Bodhisattva did not show as a monk. So they concluded that the Buddha passed the decree to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva because Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva was a monk. So typically the Buddha Dharma should be mainly conducted by the ordained monks, and then the upasaka and upasaki, or the lay practitioners, support the ordained monk. But nowadays they're different, because even the ordained Sangha members, there's some are called the sagely or the sagely holy Sangha, or just the mundane Sangha. So the sagely or holy Sangha have practice, but the mundane Sangha, we call it that they just eat, sleep, and play. Like there's some ordained monk or nun went to the retreat house at the Rainbow Temple and for retreat, and then when they got out from the retreat, they gained weight. Say after being in retreat for a week or a month, they gain weight because they slept a lot. Because they had nothing to do, they just eat and sleep. Asked them to practice, and instead they fell asleep. So instead of entering into samadhi, they went in falling asleep. So just now, in meditation, when Grandmaster closed his eyes, did he fall asleep? No. But I kept yawning, and I was holding it not to yawn, otherwise I would look not so good. So I withstood it, but I had the vision of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. When I close my eyes, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva walked from my right to my left. I saw him appearing. I was in the best terms with Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is also a Padma Kumara. So Siddhigarbha is also Padma Kumara. Guru Padmasambhava is also Padma Kumara. For the ordained Sangha member, most importantly is to be pure. In India, we call it Fan or Brahman, and the Sanskrit characters also. So the Sanskrit characters look like the characters of the clouds or of the sky. And the Sanskrit behavior is the pure conduct, so that all their conduct and behavior should abide by the precepts, especially, most importantly, for the ordained monk and nuns. Never to kill, never to steal, never to be infidel, never to lie, never to get intoxicated or to drink alcohol. Not just these 5 precepts, but they also have to abide by the Bodhisattva precepts. Many lay practitioners have also received the Bodhisattva vows, and the ordained Sangha members have also made the Bodhisattva vows and included in the ordination vows. There are many precepts. They also have to abide by the ordination precepts. So every cultivator, every Sangha member has to abide by the ordination precepts and never to violate them. They have to recite the sutras often. They have to do morning and night work. And they have to recite the ordination precepts at least once a day. But if you have been ordained but you don't know about ordination precepts, then you're not considered a real monk or nun. Otherwise, you just 3 fulfillments, which is sleep, eat, and play. And they're checking around any place where there are needing people, and they go there to play. And they go to all different chapters and centers. And they get free room and board. Especially if they are elderlies, they just become ordained and then treat the temples as their senior home. There are very few young monks and nuns, but most of the Sangha members are as old as Grandmaster. Do we have an ordained Sangha member in the 20s? Oh, the one who was just ordained. This is from Taiwan Temple, and I asked her to become ordained. At least one. Well, it's better. At least we have one. What is the idiom? Oh well. He can't remember the idiom. How about in the 30s? Any monks or nuns in the 30s? Oh, several of you. Oh, so you're still young? I thought you're as old as I am. Okay, not bad. So we should attract more younger monks and nuns so that they can take care of the elderly ones. So we need the liveliness, the youthfulness. You know, if you really cannot find any work, you can consider becoming a monk or a nun. You know, it's not so bad. You're so free. All you have to do is to abide by the precepts. And then to keep pure conduct and practice every day. You know, human life is like that. And remember, there was a king who became a monk. And he said, "Oh, this is wonderful. It's better than being a king." With one bowl, you can eat the food of thousands of households. And in solitary, you can travel all over the world. And you can just wander around with one bowl. And the king, the ordained king said, "This is better than being a king." You know, being a king, you have to read the reports every day. And then disasters and calamities and wars and battles, that's really troublesome. And even the harem with thousands of concubines, that's also quite troublesome. And look at all this TV series on the harem of the palaces. Really bothersome to the king. The king was died because of his concubines or queens. And the king also does not practice, like, so that he became non-leaking. So he did not practice, so he just had to rely on ginseng. But what use is that? That's useless. You know, that's one drop is made of who knows how much blood. So therefore, the emperors of the past lived a short life. They did not really enjoy life. Like us becoming a monk, so nice. Every night there are performances, people singing for you, and people dancing for you. Songs and dances for you, and you just give Dharma teaching. If you understand Buddha Dharma, the Buddha Dharma is still extremely important. Recently, I'm writing a book, The Key Formulas on the Path to Liberation. Inside this book, it's all about Dharma practices. It's crucial, very important. You already know that the Saha world is an illusion. It is manifested. There is nothing real about it. Today, I happen to mention to Simu, human life is as such. All my close ones have left. My father, my mother, they both have left the world. With the same grandparents, my sister had left too. And the one that I like most, my little uncle left. And my aunt who took care of me also had left. And then when I was working in Hualien, the one that took me by motorcycle to work, which is the husband of my aunt, also left. My elder sister and his wife and her husband also have left. They all left. The younger generations are still here, but everyone older than I am, or more senior than I am, all left. So thinking about it, seeing another person died, your heart is burning with fire, is not because of them, but thinking that it would be my turn soon. Next, it would be my time to leave, and then Simu leaves. Soon, everybody would leave. So, this life is like a huge dream of life and death. It is just an illusion. What would you want? Nothing. Once you go, nothing belongs to you. Like this, I am wearing whatever you wear, they don't belong to you. The place you live in doesn't belong to you. And your name and position very fast will also pass. Even your physical body does not belong to you. So don't you find it very transient and illusory? So the true key formula in spiritual cultivation is that the three wheels are intrinsically empty. So the method to enter into meditation or samadhi, there is no such person sitting in meditation, and there is no such thing as meditation, and there is no what the meditation is for. And this is a truly high realm. Or the target of the meditation. I read the book. The Ase King Sutra spoken by the Buddha. Ase. Have you ever read this sutra? Please raise your hand. Nobody. See, I'm still the first one. At that time, during the time of Sakyamuni Buddha in India, the king made a severe transgression or wrongdoings and about to fall into hell. And the Buddha asked Manjusri Bodhisattva to help him to disperse his transgressions. So at that time, the king wanted to offer to Manjusri Bodhisattva, and he brought cloth that's priceless, which is the cloth that's embellished with precious gems. And he wanted to offer it to Manjusri Bodhisattva. But Manjusri Bodhisattva disappeared. It's invisible. Just make the offering to whomever you see. That would be the same as you're making the offering to me, Manjusri Bodhisattva said. And Manjusri Bodhisattva disappeared. And then he saw Kashyapa, Mahakasyapa, and the Subhuti Bodhisattva. So the king offered the bound of cloth to Subhuti and Mahakasyapa, and they replied, "But we never did anything for you. It was Manjusri Bodhisattva who helped you to eradicate your transgressions, your heavy transgression. So it's not right for you to offer that to me." And then Mahakasyapa and Subhuti Bodhisattva also disappeared. And then he saw 500 arhats. And then he took this cloth to offer to the 5 arhats. And so, and then they also disappeared. So all the great bodhisattvas and arhats and sages, they all disappeared. And then the queen was there, and he tried to offer it to the queen, and she also disappeared. And what's left was himself. But there was still the voice saying that you just make the offering to whomever you see. And then he wear that cloth on his body, and then he disappeared himself. So in this there's a profound Buddha Dharma. And because of this, the king gained enlightenment. Then the Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, had the premonition about this Asasi king, which is predicting that he would become a Buddha in the future. So this is a very profound Buddha Dharma. So I thought about all my close ones who have left, and then in the future I would also leave. And then we cannot say 50 years, but 100 years later, everybody would have left. Nobody would still be here. That's why the Heart Sutra said, because you have realized or comprehended that there is nothing to gain, so bodhisattva, and therefore you cut off all the afflictions. There's this joke. I lived till now and I have gone through so many windstorm. I have loved, I have cried, I have laughed, I have gone crazy, and I take life lightly. But there's a regret, which is I never lose weight. I've never been slim. So this is talking about Master Hui Jun. Even when she's not here, I still want to mention her. You know, people are still balanced even when they are chubby or heavy. Oh, the heavy one has left. The ordained one. So even when they're fat, they're well distributed, but not like Hui Jin. Her head is small, her upper body is still okay, but it's not well distributed. You know which parts that's really fat. Even after she's on diet, but she's never been slim. Oh, this is political joke. Can I tell it? The Taiwanese say, we vote today and at night we would know the result. That's how it is in Taiwan. So you vote and then at night you would know. And the Chinese laugh. We vote today and yesterday we already know the result. And the Hong Kongese say in his heart, that's no big deal, because we never vote. And then we know the result when we wake up, even without voting. The Hong Kong people, do they ever vote? We have people from Hong Kong here, right? You never have to vote in Hong Kong? So the Hong Kongese don't have to vote and they know the result. That's political joke. But truthfully speaking, that's all just illusory. Even when you become a president, let me ask you, the emperors of China, you know, we've gone to mainland China, and they are the 13 tomes of the Ming dynasty. So if you have read history, you would know of the 13 emperors of the Ming Dynasty. How many do you remember? If you can name them, all 13 of them, then I would give you this dragon robe. But you should not check the internet. But you should not check the internet. Now, you should just raise your hand now. Okay. Nobody would remember. You don't even remember the names of the emperors. So, what other names would you remember? So, human life is just like an illusion. Don't think that your names are important. See, it can't be even remembered. So, why do you care? Now, at the moment, you think that your name and reputation is very important, like the second life. But you don't even remember this. We don't even remember the names of the emperors. Who would remember your names? So that's why, in my view, this name and reputation is just garbage. It's just like garbage. Why do you care about your name and reputation? Nobody would remember your name. Even your skin. That's why you have to take it lightly. Take everything lightly. Like people recording Grandmaster, and then Grandmaster joking, and then it would be bad for Grandmaster's reputation. It's okay. You can film me even when I take off my pants. I don't care. So all men look alike. Even when you film me, who would remember that that's mine? There's no name and reputation and honor to talk about. If you understand, as a Buddhist, nothing is. Today, let's talk a little bit about Lamdre. The essential four pramanas. This is the instruction on the selected meaning of the essential four pramanas, of the personal spiritual experiences of the three continuum, the myriad, unfathomable nirvana and rebirth spiritual experiences generated from the self-appearance continuum are naturally referred as the pramana of spiritual experiences. The Guru said, the spiritual experiences of the fruit of unimaginable causes you generate are arisen due to your own inner affinity. Therefore, do not be attached to them. When this happens, generate the thought that the Guru is a Buddha, and this is the pramana of the Guru's instruction. So what's written here is you do the inner tantric practice, and then you feel some spiritual experiences, like when you see, like when Grandmaster saw Siddhikapa Bodhisattva. That's the pramana of seeing, the pramana. Or that you feel extremely blissful in your body. That's the blissful experience. Why would you experience that? Because you do the inner tantric practices. So That's the cause and effect. But you should not be attached to the blissful experience that's generated in your body. Don't grasp on it. And that's the pramana of the Guru's instruction. Actually, you should not be attached to anything. The Vajra verses said, think of the personal spiritual experiences of the meditation from the crown down, express endlessly the 50 secrets. All the secret meanings of the sutras and tantras are completely lucid in mind. Only the great yogi with true self-mastery can have. Anyone realizing this sublime determination is the pramana of the transmitted records. So, when the sages write down their own personal spiritual experiences, like Grandmaster said, that in his meditation he felt like a mountain, as robust as a mountain, as stable as a mountain. That's the pramana of spiritual experiences. But when it's written, then in books, then it's become the pramana of transmitted records. If all of a sudden you feel that the Dharma flow enters into your body, and the Dharma flow moves everywhere to purge your karma from your skin pores, then that's the pramana of spiritual experiences. The feelings or the experience that you perceive in your meditation, that Dharma flow enters your body and your karma is expelled through the skin pores and your body becomes extremely pure. That's the pramana from the meditation. And it is completely lucid in mind. And only the great yogi with true self-mastery can have. Then that's the pramana of transmitted records. The Vajra Tantra said, sentient beings arise from I. The three realms arise from I. I am omnipresent. Apart from this, there are no sentient beings. What does this mean? It's very simple. In the Vajra Tantra, it was mentioned, because I exist, therefore sentient beings exist. And because I exist, the three realms exist. And I'm omnipresent. Everywhere there is an I. But when there's no I, nothing exists. This statement is very simple in the Vajra Tantra. What it means is that because you exist, therefore you are able to see sentient beings. If you don't exist, how would you know that there are sentient beings? Therefore, I give birth, or sentient beings arise because of I, or the three realms arise because of I, which is the realm of the desire, form, and formless. If you don't exist, where would the three realms exist? Why would they exist? And I exist everywhere. If you're not everywhere, then would you exist? No. Also, the Dharma speaker is I, the listeners are also I, or me, okay? It is to teach the world that the world is apart from the worldly I. All the sutras and tantras spoken by the Buddhas can be understood through the personal spiritual experiences and phenomena of a yogi. And this is the pramana of the words of the sages. A tantrika, if you can understand these words are the pramana of the words of the sages. It's very simple. If there is no I today, then nothing exists. Even hell, all the 4 Sichli realms and the 6 mundane realms, none of them exist. The Dharma speaker is also me. The listeners are also me. If you don't exist, where would there be listeners? If I don't exist, where would there be listeners? So the world and the worldly or the out of worldly all exist because of this I. If I don't exist, nothing exists. And this concept, only the yogi can understand these words. And these words are the words, the pramana of the words of the sages, and it was spoken by the Buddha. A couple rode on a double bike, traveling around, and then they climb up a hill with hardship, and then the husband said, "Oh, this hill is really difficult to climb. I'm so tired." And the wife replied, "Sure, because I kept putting on the brake, otherwise we would have fallen, slide down." So there's contradiction in here. The husband was riding, and yet the wife was putting on the brake. The husband was kept pedaling. So someone was doing it and the other one was putting on the brake. So that's conflict. Ami went to the ATM hurriedly to try to get money. And yet, after putting in the pin twice, there's no money out. And she was very anxious, and there was a man kept looking at her. So, what are you glancing at? Are you trying to steal your grandma's password? And the husband did not want to back down and say, "Right, your grandpa just want to see how much money can you get using your insurance card." So when you are in such a hurry and wanted to get money, actually, instead of using the ATM card, she used the insurance card. So in Tantrayana, what is this? A spiritual union or yogic union. It's like you get what you want, or however you practice, then you get whatever it is. So if you have sincerity or reverence, then you would get from the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas what you wish for. So a lot of things are responsive like that. So reaction. So like the deity yoga and the guru yoga, the root guru yoga. That's talking about like responses, matching responses. So all the key formulas and the pith instructions will be written in my book. Yesterday it was the Mid-Autumn Festival or Full Moon Festival, and there's a joke. When I was little, the story of the Lady of the Moon, Chang'e, I couldn't get it, although we heard it, but we never thought about it, because all you want was the mooncake. When you have grown up and you're celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival, your fantasy is the beautiful body. You cannot eat the mooncake anymore. All you think about is the lady moon, the moon lady, Chang'e. Like yesterday, did I eat the mooncake? Did you see me eating mooncake? No. See? Because I'm thinking of the lady moon, Chang'e. I'm not just grown up, I'm old. Now, as you become old, you don't eat mooncake anymore. And you don't think of the Lady Moon Chang'e anymore. And instead, you start to catch the rabbit and then to barbecue it. And then you're watching me eating the rabbit meat. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. So our mindset, our thinking process are different. And the mindset of a yogi, like Grandmaster is a yogi, it's different from the mindset of ordinary people. And what car can Grandmaster drive? Whatever car I want to drive, I can drive it. In the past, I drive a Bentley. Before this car, it was Bentley. Now it's a Maserati. In the past, I drove Bentley. And before Bentley, I drove a Rolls Royce. That should be the best kind of car, right? And now, a translator. Very beautiful Rolls Royce. She wanted to buy one for me, but I don't dare to want it, to own it. Why? Because if I drive a Rolls Royce, nowadays I haven't seen anybody driving a Rolls Royce in the whole Seattle area. If I drive a Rolls Royce, my secret would be exposed. You would know. Then you would know where Grandmaster is. But haven't you just said, Grandmaster, that you don't care about anything? So it's okay. It's okay, even if you know wherever you are, right? But this is This is a real life. I cannot let you know where Grandmaster is. So if you see my car, wherever you are, please don't tell anyone. This makes a lot of sense. Xiaohua and the dad went to a photographic exhibition, and there was one so inside that photo is a group. It's a group of school children laughing together, walking, and the title is like "On the Way to School." And then Xiaohua replied, "But the title is wrong. What's wrong about it? It should be out of class or getting off class. How could you be so happy going to school? That must be leaving from school." That makes a lot of sense. So who is the happiest now? The yogi. Spiritual cultivation is the most, is the happiest thing. It's not like that song. It's not like that song. That my happiness is longing for you. No, it's not like that. My happiness is to be a yogi. It's being a yogi. As a yogi, you would understand the ultimate truth about the world, and you also understand or comprehend the ultimate truth of the enlightenment or the out of worldly. A yogi comprehended the ultimate truth and then realized them and put it into a real realization. That's a true yogi. Once you understand or once you comprehend this concept, it doesn't matter whether you're beautiful or not. So once you shave off your hair, then you should become a true yogi. So the concept here inside Lamdre is extremely profound. Because I exist, sentient beings exist. And because I exist, there's a so-called longevity. Only because I exist, the world exists, the 10 realms exist, the 3 realms exist. But once you can realize the no self, then everything disappeared. And only at this moment, your Dharma body would exist everywhere, would be omnipresent. Om Mani Padme Hum.